I am back in the garden. Unfortunately, if you've been following me on social media, you may know, maybe not, that I hurt my leg pretty bad. I couldn't even walk. And so I'm back up on 2 feet. Walking is still difficult, but the garden waits for no one, and my garden is currently insane. I have a good friend here with me today, Kathleen, and she's gonna help me as I attempt to do a ton of harvesting. And I just thought I'd bring you along today.
Is that a camera?
Yep. Can you say hi? That is JJ. That is one of my friend's sons. Oh my goodness. A grasshopper just flew directly into my face. What are you eating?
Black cherry tomato.
Mmm. Those are so good, huh?
They're my favorite.
I love them. Okay.
Well, I just discovered that they're my favorite.
Right.
I didn't know that a week ago.
And you're planning on planting those, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Kathleen is doing, well, do you want to explain what you're going to do at your house next year?
We're gonna do raised bed and container gardening.
And she is you're in, where are you?
North Dakota.
So,
southeast North Dakota.
so do you know what zone you're in?
No, we're not that educated yet.
So I believe North Dakota is in zone 5 or 6, I believe, in the part that they're in. All right, I am gonna start digging potatoes. I don't know why, because that's what I want to do. And I've been needing to dig potatoes for weeks. If you're watching this and you're like, isn't it a bit late to dig potatoes? Yes, it is. Good job for knowing that. Let's go. This is our squash bed, but it is also our potato bed in the back. And we're gonna dig. All right, so we harvested potatoes. Let's take a look at our progress. Honestly, this was my first year of harvesting potatoes or of growing potatoes. And I just have to say, we'll have a lot more potatoes next year, most likely, because they were just really easy to harvest. Well, not really easy, but like they were easy to take care of. You plant, you basically just leave them alone, and then you harvest, and that's just amazing to me. So here's what the potato bed looks like now. And remember, we have potatoes and squash growing on the same bed. We will not do that next year. As you can see, the bed is much more empty. And we probably harvested, what, like 4 gallon? No, 4, what size buckets are these? 4 big buckets of potatoes. 64 quarts. So 64 quarts times 4. And that was 1 full row of potato. Well, not even 1 full 100-foot row. And then another half one, and then like 3 quarter ones. So a lot of potatoes were harvested this year. Shout out to Nathan and JJ and Kathleen who helped me. And let me show you part of our potato harvest. Hopefully tomorrow we can give a bunch of tomatoes away. A bunch of tomatoes will end up in my freezer tonight. And we are wrapping up the garden for 2021. And I have to say, this has been a success. All right, we've got many fresh picked tomatoes. Just 2 boxes today. Okay, so we're gonna process tomatoes, and I'm gonna tell you the way that I'm processing them this year. That might not be the best way to do it, but it's how I feel like it's what I've heard you can do, so we'll see how it actually works. But I have 2 tubs about this size of tomatoes, and I am not gonna be able to do much with them before sundown. And we celebrate Sabbath, and that is from sundown Friday night to sundown Saturday night. And so I want to make sure that I still get to have these tomatoes. So any green tomatoes that we ended up picking for whatever reason, I'm gonna leave on the counter to ripen. But tomatoes that are ready to process, I'm just gonna take these guys, cut out any bad spots, put an X on the bottom, and put these in the freezer where they will freeze until I'm ready to actually make sauce or whatever I want to do with them. And from what I've heard, this is a really good way to kind of process a bunch of tomatoes when you don't have a lot of time. All right, guys, we finished the day. 6.5 bags of tomatoes are now in my freezer. I did want to say just really quickly, when you're doing that, make sure you're cutting out all the bad spots. If there are bad spots, you cut out the top and then you put an X on the bottom, and then the skin should fall off, is what I've heard. Follow best like safety practices to do some research about how to do it best so that you keep you and your family safe. Freezing doesn't kill like bacteria and stuff, so just keep that in mind when you're doing tomatoes. I think that wraps it up for today. We are enjoying sundown with a barbecue and family time. Until next time.